78% of suicide rates worldwide are men. What can we do to help them? Not punish people for seeking mental help. Even going to a psychiatrist or psychologist for depression can get you out on a list that restricts you from certain things. We don't like that, it scares us. Stop pushing us down when we share opinions and such. Nobody in my whole adult life has asked me how my day was without the ulterior motive of telling me about theirs. It's always, hey, how was your day at work? It was pretty shit tbh. Cold and wet. Boss lectured. Been up since 4 a.m. I ache everywhere. Oh, I know what you mean. I had a terrible day myself. 10 minutes of talking about themselves. I'm not suicidal, but I don't have any friends, and the routine of work, sleep without ever getting to share anything with anyone feels like there's no point. We need to get rid of this stigma that men have to be strong. Men aren't given any allowances to be open with their emotions and show vulnerabilities, and men who do are deemed to be weak. I feel like the rewards perfectly represent the attitude towards men. Yep, sounds good, but no one really is engaged enough to give more than silver. Most suicides are by men, that's right, but more suicide attempts are by women. According to recent meta-analyses, the most effective intervention to lower the suicide rates is to tighten the firearms law. A floor to stand on, rather than a net to catch them. It starts early. Elementary school needs to stop villainizing typical male behavior. Boys are more rambunctious than girls, and that is okay. But from young ages boys are told their normal behavior is bad. That leads to a long-term effect that includes massive consequences. I work with suicidal teens over the last 10 years. It goes back so much farther than people understand. I definitely think it's results either from men feeling lonely, no close partner or truly close friends / a best friend, or from having a lack of purpose. They don't feel that they have any impact on the world around them. They aren't social, their job seems lowly, they don't win anything, or they don't have any hobbies they truly enjoy. And #X200B. Lack of purpose or loneliness skeptical. Blame them for being born men. /S. The first step would seem to be to find out what the primary causes of suicidal despair are among men. If it's isolation or lack of social intimacy, the solution would only work if the men are receptive to it. I have had suicidal relatives before, and it seems they were resistant to most efforts to draw them out and engage them. Of course, each case is different. I feel like women are hard on men because the women I have dated when my own mind was on suicide, they were stereotyping me. I mean that in the sense of men shouldn't be emotional, and I am a very emotional person. They would beat me down verbally and condemn me for being me. I know there are men and guys out there that experience it as well. That's my take. I think a part of it is the immense amount of blame that we get as men. Take a look at any feminist rally, subreddit, or community. 99% of the time, you can find a sizable chunk of women speaking very generally about the bad shit that men have done to them. Rape, abuse, suppressing their voice in politics throughout history, the list goes on. I can't blame them for rallying together and such. I wholeheartedly believe in equal rights and all that jazz. But when we are so broadly generalized, it can make us feel like we as individuals are the enemy. We are criminalized and demonized by a large portion of feminist groups. And #X200B. Again, I fully support these groups, but some of the phrasing and language that gets thrown around is pretty hurtful. Stop saying shit like men are trash. Male friendships, in my personal experience, tend to make a lot of jabs at each other. 99% of the time it's in good fun. But if men don't get compliments once in a while, well, all we have left are those jabs. Anyways, another reason to compliment your male friends, even in the smallest of ways. That goes for everyone. Raise wages and provide free healthcare so men don't succumb to fear and desperation about their survival. We can start by not treating men like garbage. So, amongst other things, Not blaming all the world's ills on them, not treating everything they do as evil, not assuming ulterior motives behind everything they do, not acting like they don't deserve anything they earn because of their non-existent male privilege, not teaching them they aren't allowed to have feelings, and of course even out the double standards in prison time, criminal liability, draft eligibility, child custody, child support, alimony, the perception of their sex and sexuality. And of course take seriously and support male victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, harassment, and every other crime to the same extent we do with female victims. If we could have a world where a man can't end up paying child support to a woman that raped him, that'd be an improvement. In other words, actually fucking mean it when we talk about gender equality. I feel like trying to remove the stigma around getting help and being in a rough place. They feel like people will treat them differently if they do so. This is a complex issue, so that would just be one part of a multi-part approach. Tell them it's okay to cry and stop telling them to man up when they are going through tough times. It's okay to cry because crying actually can make you feel better, since it is a stress reliever. Since society tells men that it's unmanly to cry, their feelings would damage them even more if they just manned up. Also, men can get raped or sexually assaulted, so they're most likely not lying if they say they've been raped. Another thing is, don't tell them they should have defended themselves or that they should man up and take it or that it's their fault. Don't ever tell them that men can't get raped because they fucking can. Wow. The best thread I've seen on Reddit, ever. Stop putting the weight of world on them and then calling them pieces of shit. I think a big part of the problem is fathers who have a daughter complex and are the breadwinner of the family. They'll literally finance their daughter's life damn near into their 30s and throw their son out at the first opportunity. Feminism was supposed to make both genders equal. It is now putting one over the other. In court, people take the side of the woman usually, trust me. I know. And as another example, are boys allowed into Girl Scouts? No. But it is alright the other way around. In my opinion, this is happening because feminism is now focused on superiority, not equality. I have lost family and friends to suicide. My indigenous community is overrepresented in suffering death by suicide, especially in rural areas and on the reservation. The stats are horrific. My take is to pick through this endemic with a fine-toothed comb. Look at each demographic individually and address the very wide collection of needs to be met, and find the people in those communities to network across the board so more information can be spread faster and wider. Mental health, family history, abuse, childhood trauma, poverty, addiction, homelessness, isolation, loss of self-governance, loss of culture. There are so many platforms we can look towards to address this endemic. It's an all-hands-on-deck situation. Make therapy and other forms of help easier to access and cheaper. Stop comparing problems men have with worse problems. Everyone has problems. We should try and help who we can, even if the problem is small. If it's enough to drive a man to suicide, it's definitely not small. I'm about to be homeless. My ex stole 2 TVs and a gaming laptop, which was my escape. Now I spend days contemplating how useless my life is because I have legitimately one friend that is there due to him selling me alcohol. I'm an alcoholic and can't drink myself to death just to the point of messing my friendships/relationships up. I live in a shitty house I can't afford and can't pay bills or rent. That sort of stuff could use fixing. Some of it is plaque psoriasis that I was diagnosed with, which makes me depressed to interact with people due to the masking. I just had to vent, boys. I'm sorry about that. I destroy the internet. Stop shaming men for opening up about emotions and provide more atmospheres to discuss mental health. TBH, we need to make communities where men can meet and make friends. Friends are really helpful when it comes to depression and all. Everyone should have friends. Friends are great. And to all those who say they don't have, go to workplace and find someone with common interests and talk and chat with them every day. Eventually you will be friends. Sorry for the format, I'm typing from mobile. Seriously. Legalize happy endings. Stop taking their damn kids away. Most men are good people who would gladly die for their children. Only being allowed a weekend of supervised visitation every month that the mother can sabotage at will does bad things to both men and their children, sons in particular.
With